All right, we're starting.
All right, continuing on our last podcast. Here's Jaime.
All right, so our second hypothesis was another hypothesis. Sometimes people don't end well and do not spark change. I probably read that wrong. It was protests don't end well and do not spark change.
Yeah. She got me a little bit. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was
sometimes
like,
people don't end well. I was like,
yeah. I would do a retake, but
no, that's cool. That's
let's
good.
just run with it.
Yeah, but sometimes protests don't end well and they don't spark change, which
Yes.
is true. I think a good example to start off would be like people that were protesting during the Vietnam War. They were protesting to like not fight them and not go to war, and I mean the war is still happening, and it was like a long war if I'm not mistaken, right?
It was.
It was a really long war, and we lost.
Yeah.
We lost.
So and I want to say a good person to mention is Muhammad Ali, because he was supposed to go to the Vietnam War, but he chose not to. Yeah, and then they like punished him. I think he put him in jail.
He didn't
Right.
go to jail for a while, and he lost his license to box. I remember.
Yeah, they took his license away to box because he went to jail because he didn't want to fight for the USA. But it was because it was against his beliefs. Because he was what was he?
I think
Muslim, right?
Muslim, yeah.
And he wasn't.
They don't fight without a reason. That's
Yeah, they don't fight without a reason. And he's like, it's not my war. Why I'm gonna be fighting for you guys. Da, 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 da. And it made sense because I mean, everyone was protesting because they didn't want them to go to the war, and like it's kind of like people like getting involved into something that didn't involve us, and they were kind of just like, we're gonna do that.
I think now that you mentioned that, I remember. I believe there's even like a video of it where it's like some of the people were actually protesting in like a university. If I'm not mistaken, and they actually got shot because I think protesters started throwing stuff at the cops and they like trigger happy and they start shooting. I think there's like a video on that, but I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I think I want to say I remember it as well.
Yeah, it's like these. You can in the beginning of the video, it's like a few female university students that are there with some guys, and then all of a sudden they just get shot. You can see like people on the floor just dead, I believe.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to our maybe our first one. What factors lead to protests to result in disasters?
Wars.
Well,
I mean, well, yeah. Usually, I feel like in any war that's ever happened, there was always people that protested against it. There was always a group that was like, "Why are we fighting?" Or like whether if they're hippies or whatever, they're kind of just like, "No, man, like you got me." There's always, no matter from what angle. I feel like in any war that's happened, there was people that protested against it. Like, we don't have to go to war, except for like the beginning of like the USA. Maybe that one had to happen. The one where we fought. Who did we fight? The British.
Germany still.
No, the British. No.
Nope. Germany still.
Was it Germany?
Germany, both wars all the way.
No, not that wars. The very first war before like
Oh, you mean
the start
that?
of after the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, that was
It was the England, right? Because
Yeah.
England like moved in and they were like, oh, we're basically telling you guys what to do, and then George Washington and the other guy was like, nah. Remember, and they went to war with them.
Yeah.
So that was one, but that one I don't think they had protests with that one. Everyone was just like, we're with it, like let's.
So we could say maybe times of crisis then. So
times of crisis, yeah.
So we wouldn't say technically just war, but times of crisis that includes like natural disasters, maybe wars.
I believe they were protesting recently when they were sending people to, was it Giza, right?
Oh, Gaza.
Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Gaza, yeah. Right? People were protesting that too. Because they were like kind of getting involved a little bit. They were like
Palestine, that's readily. Yeah, it was not too long ago. I think that was like.
I think it's still going on.
Are they still protesting?
Yeah.
That's a long one then. And I remember that one. It was like, I think it was like literally the beginning of when I first got here. So that was like in the fall. I remember seeing the news. They were like protesting a lot in USC. That one was hilarious because I remember there was like this one dude that they interviewed, and then it's like, oh, you're a student from the USC. Now he's like from another state, so they're like questioning, like, what are you doing here? Why are you protesting here? So
I like protests. Yes, that's what I mean. Somebody will find a protest to get behind. Like, what are you doing here? He's like.
He was like literally from another state. Like it was hilarious. I remember that one, but I guess that was also a good one to mention because I guess the war going on, how like they were saying that U.S. was supporting it,
Yeah.
supporting the massacres.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't like it, but at the same time, that same protest didn't end too well because I remember some people getting arrested because it was like getting out of hand. They're like throwing stuff at the security there that was like actually security
Yeah.
supposed to guard the protest. Like they were there to.
There was a protest on a campus that went bad as well. There was like people. There was people. They weren't like security or anything, and they were kind of just there, and they were like assaulting people. They were like hitting protesters and throwing things at them, but they were just there on the campus.
I'm not sure.
But they were. I think they were put there to like, kind of scare off the protesters.
I think it was the one in Texas. That one went out of hand because that one I remember the majority of the protesters got arrested, and I believe also another one was the UCLA one. That one where they.
I think that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's the one where they closed off. At the same
They
time.
closed it off. Yeah.
They went to the extremes because they literally built a barricade. The protesters. They went to the extremes. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't really support that one too much because that one went to the very extremes.
I did. Yeah, I went.
There's even photos of them like when they're like throwing stuff. The cops had to like literally push in to like break that up.
They're beating people up.
Yeah,
they're like assaulting other students.
They were. So
yeah, so that's why it got pretty serious because they're like, you could have just been like, oh, I'm going to class today, and they seen you, they're just like, beat them up. Like, that's kind of how it was going. So it's kind of. It was really insane, yeah.
So yeah, it was like, would you think that maybe were they frustrated, stressed?
I don't know. I don't know. That one's a tough one to call because I don't know what they were on. Like
that one, yeah. Because that one
I don't even think they were students or something. They probably weren't. They were probably just there, like like squatters. Are like, oh, we're homeless. We just want to live here. They put barricades up. There's tents.
Yeah, there was tents and everything.
They had tents. People were going. They're staying there overnight. I think they were there. I don't know how long they were there, but they were there for
quite a while.
Yeah.
So I do remember that. So I guess maybe strong emotions we could say for that.
Strong emotions, definitely.
Would you guys? Is there like maybe like a good reason for one protest to go to the extremes or no?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say like if something were to happen like with the police again, and if it was related to like a family member of mine, I would want the protest to be pretty big and pretty like kind of like that, you know, kind of like the Black Lives Matter protest. Be like, yeah, let's burn this shit to the ground, like
yeah. All right.
What about change?
What about the recent one, the one of the ice? What do you guys think about?
Oh yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, I think it was a good protest, but again on that end, I don't think I seen change from it. Like I did see them protesting. Like I had a friend. She went to the protest when they were on the day that when they went on the freeway.
Yeah.
Went from the city hall, and then from the city hall they walked to the freeway, and then they blocked the freeway. I don't know why they did that, but that was just, I don't know if that was planned or not. But that's like
it was in front of the also immigration buildings.
Yeah. But I don't know about the freeway though. I don't know why they went on the freeway. That's like dangerous and like
it was dangerous.
It's very dangerous and it's very. But I mean, I guess they wanted to be heard, but it's kind of like the wrong. What is it called? Like it's bad publicity kind of. But I mean, sure, I probably we got news and stuff like that, but. And for that sense, it's kind of like, nah.
Yeah. What do you guys think then that... Actually, lost my train of thought there. It went quick. But yeah, what I was going to actually say was that regarding the protesters, if they protested like aggressively or non-aggressively, which one do you think is more effective?
Aggressively.
Aggressive?
Yeah, because usually when people are just there, kind of just like, just with signs, nobody takes them serious. They're kind of just like, oh, they're just... they're just outside, and that's it. But when like things do escalate to like, kind of like not something that's like the best, but like usually that's when they'll be like, okay, we're gonna change this, we're gonna change our policies, or we're gonna do this and this and this, right?
Yeah.
But it sucks that it has to get to that point where that's how they get somebody or get somebody's attention to be like, okay, we're gonna actually change, at least something to like accommodate you guys. Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm not sure which article mentioned from the ones we had for this one. I don't know if it was Eslin, Schumann, or Lorena, but I think one of them mentions how actually the protesters that are usually non-aggressive are the ones that are more effective.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Liar.
No, really. I'm not sure which of the 5 we chose.
I don't know. I guess I would just, in my approach, I would want a little bit more.
But I understand because.
But I also wouldn't go to a protest unless it was super like serious. But if I was for me, I think I would want a more like, like let's get that change today. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I understand your point.
Like I guess Cesar Chavez would be a good example because his protests right for farmers.
It was a silent one. I remember.
It was a silent. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't nothing. It was kind of just.
They
like,
just boycotted. Like they went to.
They were like, yeah.
Boycotted a lot of
They
stuff.
did it. They kind of did it the right way, and they did get like better stuff, right? I don't know what they got, but I know he did the protest.
Well, he got them, I believe, a visa. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He got them like the permits to stay there and better pay because they're like.
Yeah, they weren't getting paid anything.
They weren't getting paid. They weren't getting benefits. They were just like almost treated like.
And it's a dangerous job because they're smelling asbestos and all that all day.
Oh yeah.
And they're like the really bad working conditions because you like that's bad for you. Like if
Being
you
in the sun,
yeah, in the sun, and then the asbestos like asbestos could like it goes on from generations. So like if it's like you're that person so bad from like inhaling that, it goes down to like if they have kids and they have kids, because it's like so it's really bad. But yeah, he would be a good example of a successful peaceful protest.
Yeah, so it was. I found it. It was Truman that also mentions it because of the Black Lives Matter. Going back to that one, it was doing actually good at first, but then that's when it happened, like the riots.
It was one guy. It was probably one guy. I'm telling you, just like
that started.
Just
it.
like threw a beer bottle in the window, and then they're like,
Yeah, and I guess that's like where strong emotion plays a big impact because everyone's heated up already. Everyone's angry.
I'll say this though. I feel like in that protest, not everybody there was there to protest. I feel like there's people there, just there because they kind of like the mob mentality type of thing.
Yeah,
like they were there just because like, oh, it's a big mob, like we could get away with things.
Yeah,
just like when LA, what happened in LA? I don't know. Well, it wasn't a protest, but I guess it was like a riot. So like when the Lakers won when the Dodgers won the World Series, people were out there like celebrating in the streets. I mean, I was one of them. But people also were at the same time looting stores. They robbed the Nike store. They burned the bus, and it's kind of like.
It was during the World Series. After that,
I was out there. I was celebrating. I got the week before I got shot by the SWAT people.
Oh wow!
I have a big old bruise right here because they shot me. Yeah, they hit me with the rubber bullet. I had a big old bruise all right here.
Yeah.
I was lit. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you could say very strong emotion, but I guess it's not negative. Like I would assume it would be like anger, maybe, but I guess maybe joy.
Joy. Yeah, I think those are good examples. Joy, anger, frustration.
I feel like the frustration we could connect it to like that one protest in UCLA.
Yeah.
Because I guess that was like, I still want to question it, but at the same time, I guess it was like their way of trying to get the message through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just remember it was on the news a lot though.
It was.
That got a lot of news, like, whatever that word is. But yeah, it was on the news a lot. I remember I would see it. I go to the gym and they would have like, oh, UCLA still da 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 da, and they had like videos and reporters there like showing everything that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that would bring me to my second question, which was would the protesters' emotions or motives lead to the protest to an failure? But I guess that's a little bit answered because we did agree that, or maybe disagree that emotions are, or motives would be.
Emotions are motives, right?
I believe in the book it mentions a little bit that it's like works as a motivation as well.
Yeah. High emotions, high motivations.
Yeah, like that's what can. It's like a stronger drive, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Stronger push, stronger drive. It's like what pushes people, but it still sometimes doesn't end in change.
Okay. Any other questions?
Last one is same one as our first one. What ideas or details support our hypothesis? If not, would we revise our hypothesis? Pretty much saying, do we support our hypothesis or do we consider a change maybe?
Yeah, I feel like it supports our hypothesis.
I support it. Yeah, I'd support it.
Yeah.
I think we just talked about.
I do agree with it too.
Yeah.
We did mention a lot of good points. That was a good one, the Vietnam. I didn't really consider that one, but that one won.
Cesar Chavez.
Cesar Chavez also.
Yeah.
And I guess you do see like there's like sometimes where they're like non-aggressive and sometimes where they're aggressive.
Yeah.
sometimes it's still, even though they're non-aggressive, it still ends.
Yeah. You know which one I was thinking of that was non-aggressive was the one where it was a group of black people who rode the bus together. They rode because they weren't allowed to ride the bus, right? They had to go to the back. And it was like after Rosa Parks. It wasn't Rosa Parks. It was the one where it was like black people and white people went on the bus together, and they were riding it, and they were assaulting them. And then when they pulled the bus over, a bunch of white people were beating up all the black people.
I don't remember that one.
And yeah, but that one was like a peaceful protest, and they were trying to protest like kind of like they should be allowed to not have like the segregated buses type of thing, and that's how it went. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like unfortunately, there's people who don't agree sometimes with the protests. So
yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't get lynched, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So I guess we can call it for that one. We do agree that our hypothesis is we supported.
All right.
So I guess that's it. End the video.
See you next time. Like and subscribe.
Moving on.
Yeah.
I feel like that one